What is going on, crypto enthusiasts, Liquidity Citadel, and new subscribers? Hopefully you guys are having a phenomenal week. CPI news day today. We got some movement in the market. Nevertheless, we're going to be diving into all of that, looking for some fresh setups, shorts or longs. Really, it's 50-50 when we look at both angles of these. Shorts are going to be favoring, yes, but I'm a little bit more optimistic here, just considering looking at where funding is at right now and looking where fear is at altogether. I think we get a little bit of relief inside this month of June. I'm going to be sharing some of those targets with you. Outside of that, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal week, as I mentioned before. Let's dive into these charts real quick, kind of give you a gander as far as what I'm looking at right now. We're on a 15-minute. I did not mark off the 15-minute session, so I'll do that with you right now so we can kind of get an idea as far as where we're at. 9:30 was right over here. Let's zoom in on that a little bit. It's this candle right here, so here's the low, and then let's go ahead and mark off the high. All right, there's that range. This is previous New York sessions. Don't need those anymore. So 15-minute session here. Obviously we have some liquidity down below, 1.6 billion down to 1.5 billion, sitting inside of these 1624 handles. If you guys recall from one of the previous setups that we had mentioned early in the week, one of the shorts that we had mentioned, I believe it was actually Monday morning, I believe it was. I got to go back and look at my notes, but my point is that one of the targets that we were looking at was the 1602. There was a sell side liquidity. We tapped just above that. Let me go ahead and take the dynamic off here for a second so you can see what I'm referring to. Now we didn't completely tap into it. It's this line right over here, this purple line right over here, 1602 and some change, and I believe we went to 1602.70. And so we can see where this red line is at. That's our weekly low. So if you're looking at my charts and you're wondering what these lines are, these lines up here, this is the weekly high, and then this is going to be the weekly low, and it adjusts as we go through, through price action. So if price action goes higher, then the weekly high will change, and so forth and so on. I am going to show you the potential setup that I'm viewing right now. It's on a 4-hour. It's a bump and run setup. All right, so we have a very small range here for the New York session with CPI news. Can we go to 1666, 1670s in those areas and start coming right back down? Yes, we could. Two reasons I believe that could happen is because, one, we have a shaved head on the 4-hour, right where we're currently at now, and we also have a shaved bottom a couple sessions back. Even if you actually look at it on a daily, you can see that we have a shaved bottom as well there too. So as I was mentioning in the very beginning, it's really 50-50 as far as which direction it wants to take first. If it wants to take the shaved head to the top first, then I'm looking at some shorts in that area, coming back down and tapping into some of these lower fib levels. I have like 1586 down to 1555. Those are some of the levels that I'm looking at. But if we don't tap into those, then my thesis is telling me, okay, we're inside of an ABC here, and I actually already have this mapped out. I'll show you guys here as far as what that setup looks like. So something like that. That's what, and that all of that would be essentially a wave one. Right, if that goes to full maturity, it could tap into shorter levels like 1810 inside of those areas. But there's more volume from a volume profile perspective that sits a little bit higher. So this is why I have my wave C extended to the two percentile areas, 2.24, 2.618 area, which essentially is 1989 up to 2071. 1989 makes a little bit more sense to me because from a monthly TD9 sequential perspective, if June reclaims 1965, then the setup phase changes into a bearish setup phase, which ultimately is going to start pointing towards higher highs. If it closes underneath the 1965, then the bullish setup phase is still intact, which means we have lower lows, and the monthly is going to be printing an 8 here. So from previous videos, if you guys can recall, actually I think maybe like just last week, I was going over a full in-depth breakdown of the monthly of all the bear markets and kind of what I was looking at. I'm still looking at there can be potential flushes, right? Like that's still on the table for me, but I'm just looking for that relief first, you know, 1965 inside that area, and if I get to 1989, even better, and then have that retracement. That retracement back down is going to be really the telling sign if we are in recovery, if we did bottom here in that area. Because if we sweep the low again, if we sweep 1504, then the wave 2, which just wasn't done, excuse me, wave 1 just wasn't intact, and we're going to lose a wave 2, and then we're going to have continuation to the downside. So essentially invalidation. But for the bump and run, what I'm looking at here, let's open that up. Let's move this over. And let's go ahead and hide this for right now. Lock that down. We're looking at this lead-in phase right here. You can see how price action has been coming through this line, this descending resistance line, if you will, and just bumping against it, and then you'll have like this dip. It's this dip that really kind of caught my eye and going, okay, I know this pattern, I've seen it before. Let me do some research on it. And so I was just doing a little bit of research and, you know, reminding myself that this is a bump and run. What kind of gives it this classification is this little swoop right here. Also looks like a scallop, right? A scallop is going to be like a J or like a Nike swoosh, if you will. For anybody familiar with Nike swooshes, I think most people are. But this right here, that was the characteristic I was looking at. I was saying, okay, well, if I have the swoop, let me go back and see what kind of led up to that. And I could see that we were just bumping. Now we have the swoop. Can we get another swoop? Yes, you can. You can get another dip that comes down into these areas. That's what opened up the door here for these fib levels that you see in white. You know, 1586, 1555, 1530. Inside of those levels, we could get another swoop inside that area. You know, as long as we don't break the low of 1504, then we can see a bump and run reversal. Now, when I say bump and run reversal, I don't mean like all-time highs or anything like that. I'm more referring to reversal for short-term relief. Short-term relief, in my opinion, takes us to those 1989s, 2000s, 2071 areas. And then full max, obviously, if this was to go the distance, it would be sweeping 2422. If that were to occur, then yeah, I have to reanalyze a lot of different things on the monthly perspective. But I think we'll probably maybe get that relief, and then we'll start coming back down going into the month of July. That's my viewpoint. So shorts are going to be more of scalps here in this area, you know, shorting down into those lower handles of like 1612, 1586, if they give, right? If 1672 acts as a point of resistance and continues to act as a point of resistance, then yeah, then it makes sense for us to go into those levels. And you can see these green lines right over here. This is the buy side liquidity that sits right over here, 1666 right here. So if you're wondering where I'm getting this number from, it's the buy side liquidity. We have a second buy side liquidity that sits right around 1720. Coupled with that, we also do have a 9 failure that sits on the 4 hour right over here. You can see there's a 9 failure. So if we were to go to 1720 instead and then come back down, I could see that happen as well too. So it's really kind of time will tell what that looks like overall. What's going on? What's going on? What's up, boy? Am I saying this right? Kirsten? Am I saying that right? I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I apologize. But good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. We do have some longs that are appearing here, right? And you can see on the dashboard here to the left, right under the liquidity citadel, we can actually get a quick read on it that longs are starting to appear right? It's on a watch list right now. It's not completely ready. RSI sitting right at 48. You know, anything under 50 from an RSI perspective is going to be considered bearish. Anything above 50 is going to be considered bullish. And so we're just kind of riding that line. This is why you're starting to see a long score starting to print here, because if we break above that area, then longs are going to start to take more favor from an RSI perspective. Now ADX is sitting right on a 22. From a trend strength perspective, you really want to see it above 25 and then breaching into, you know, a really strong trend would be somewhere around 60s. An even stronger trend would be peaking out somewhere around 80s. So this is why you're starting to see a long score starting to print. You can see where the magnet is at 1667. That's where price is going to be drawn towards. And so that's what we're keeping our eye on right now. I do have some longs that are open from the dip yesterday. I was looking to catch the 1602. I actually had limit orders right at 1602. But as we were like just grazing that area, I had to have some manual entries into that. So that's currently where I'm at right now. We do have our 1K to 10K challenge that's coming up relatively soon. We're going to be running all of this through Blofin. And they are offering right now for all new subscribers or new UIDs a 20% cash back on any deposit. And it's different than some other exchanges that I've utilized before. Sometimes you have to have money in there for, you know, 3 days, then they give you 10%, then another 3 days, they'll give you another 10%. Blofin's doing it a little bit different, where they're going to give you 20% after you hold it in there for 3 days. You get the full deposit within 20%, the full 20% cash back on that third day. So something to look into if you're looking for discounted fees and you're looking for extra trading bonuses, extra capital for you to utilize. Yes, it is a plug, but at the same token, this is how we reward our community, by finding some of the best deals that are out there with the exchanges and then turning them back over to you guys. So it's just an opportunity for you guys to, you know, I get messages like, hey, I have limited capital, I have X, Y, and Z, you know, what should I be doing? It's like, well, take what you have, do a deposit, and then you'll get an extra capital that you can actually trade with, and then just follow along as far as some of the setups and some of the calls that we're doing, either on stream or inside of our server, and you'll be profitable in that perspective. Right now, where price action is at currently, really not inclined to opening up any shorts here currently where it's at right now. You know, mainly due to this New York open high, New York open low right here. It's just such a small range, right? And it could take either side, to be quite honest with you. It could really take either side. We do still have that strong bearish trend. That's why you see the deep purple that's showing here. What's up, Sniper? Good morning, boss. Salute to you, brother. So these candles are showing us momentum, right? The way that I've designed this is to show us momentum. So obviously when it's bullish, it's going to be green. When it's dark purple like this, it's when it's starting to flip bearish, or at least it is bearish. And when you see that bright yellow, then it's showing you chop. Now, if you go over to a 15-minute, we can see a little bit different, right? We can see that we went bearish, then we started going up, then we chopped a little bit. Now we're printing a little bit of green. Now we have a bearish candle followed with some chop. That's why I was saying, like, this area is more of like neutral territory, especially when you're inside of sessions, right? When you're inside of sessions, you want to be careful as far as opening up positions. You want to see a break or above or below to position yourself accordingly. Let's throw on dynamic again here real quick because I just want to see. I think we had like 1 point something billion. Yeah, 1.6 billion. That sit right around like 1628 inside that area. So like a perfect world would be like if price action can, you know, maybe if price action came down to these levels and then built up inside of these levels, and then went up. Right, like if I was looking for longs, right, like you know, I want to try to get into a long position. You know, I didn't catch it yesterday. I wasn't following inside of the server. I didn't see the 1602 TP level. Whatever your excuse may be. If you missed all that, that's really what I would be looking for. Oops, didn't mean to do all that. And the shaved head, just for reference, I'm going to show you here on the 4 hour again. These are the shaved heads that I'm referring to. Shaved head here, and we have a shaved bottom that sits right over here. This is our daily. This is where we opened up on the 4 hour, right? Just as of yesterday. So you can see basically the daily opened up with a shaved bottom. We'll come back and revisit that area. We will 100% come back and revisit that area. And it's starting to run warm here. All right, let's take this off. I didn't want to do that either. Yeah, long score and lower time frame is going to print a little bit higher, but it's probably not the best. Yeah, running a little cool here, not running hot on mid time frames. And you can take off the smart candles just as an FYI. You can just leave the data. So like, for example, I'm going to take out the smart candles here. And really all I'm looking at now is just heat maps. So if I just wanted to see the temperature of what's brewing, you know, on these time frames, let's go to a 4 hour and see what that looks like. Right, we had a massive cool down, kind of ran a little bit moderately cool. You know, it's a little bit lukewarm here in this area. You know, that deeper yellow, if you will, not so bright, but that deeper yellow, it's more like lukewarmish. But we've been on a cooldown for a minute. That's where this bump and run setup comes into play for me. That's how I'm viewing that. And just as FYI, anybody that's utilizing the indicator that we've offered inside of our server, you can adjust all the settings to your preference, right? You can play around with them. So for example, sweep look back is going to default to like around 50. I set mine to 405. So that way I have less noise on my chart, and I'm really looking at the more meaningful sweeps that really matter to me. And maybe you're not a dark chart type of trader. Maybe you prefer the white background. You can adjust all the colors if you want to the gradient scale that suits you based on how you like to design your charts. I just think it pops a little bit more and it flows a little bit better with the stream. So for the weekly high indicator right over here, right? Weekly high and then weekly low. This indicator right here, these two lines right here. You can set alarms on them. You can automatically set alarms on them. So it makes it easier, you know, as you're trading, you just set one alarm, and every time price action will break a new high for the weekly or break a new low, your alarm will go off. And as you know, as we've discussed before, the better data is always going to be on the higher time frame. So if I'm looking at it from a weekly perspective, I want to know what's occurring on that week if I want to position myself for a short and or a long. So for the week thus so far, yeah, we've made a couple new lows. We've made 2 new lows so far for the week. We haven't breaking any highs yet. We had one high, and that was on Monday around 4 p.m. Well, really, let's go to Sunday, because actually, no, it's right over here. Did I break a high? No, I broke it on Monday. Monday around noon, I made my high for the week. And then just yesterday, I made my low for the week. So technically, from a weekly perspective, you're inside of this weekly range. So when you're inside of this weekly range, the short that I was giving around like 1666, essentially it's going to be a scalp. It's not going to be a swing. It's going to be a scalp. Scalp / intraday. What's up, Will? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And I can drill down a little bit tighter on this. See this volume area high right over here. I feel like this is going to be a sweet spot right over here, 1971. I feel like that's going to be a sweet spot. I mean, liquidity wise, let's look at liquidity real quick. Let's look at liquidity. Let me change this over. I need to set up these hotkeys. That's what I need to really do, is set up the hotkeys. I'll just do it on Binance, it's fine. So this is for the day, obviously, 1635. You can see that. Where's the 1602 at? That's these people right over here. Damn, not that many 100Xers in there. Ah, stand corrected. All right, what do we have below that? I think it was like 1586. That's right over here. So 281 million that sits there. What's this? 1670? 109 million that sits there. So 1666, right? So that's initially my first target for shorts. But you can see there's a gap in between here. So if we break this 1666 area and then take the liquidity at 1670s, right? What's 1720? Yeah, see, 1720 is way over here. Not that much of liquidity that sits there. Let's go to a 7-day real quick. Yeah, so there's my 1720. So roughly around 559 million. What's that? 1706, 394. So there's these gaps, right? So once we take this, it's kind of thin air that sits here. This would be what price action is attracted to, 1706. So if we break, 1676 inside that area, this is why I had a very tight stop loss on that setup. Is because if we break this area right over here, it's thin air here. You might get a little bit of turbulence at 1693 from the psychological 1700, and then 1706. If we break 1706, there's another little pocket. And then that puts us at the 1720, which on my chart here, from a fib level perspective, now I'm incorporating the mathematics behind it. From a, if I'm gonna go wave C here, let's just say this is A, B, and then C here. Do it like this. All right, A, B, You know, C could be somewhere right around here, which that's 1749 inside that area. It could also be here inside of 1779, or it can be at 1810, which is 1.414. So we have several targets that it can go to. That's what we're looking at, boys. That's what we're looking at. That's what we're hyper focused on right now. At Wyckoff wise on a 4-hour, it's showing us accumulation here. It's a phase B. See, the thing is that USDT never cleared. Let's fix this real quick. Let's fix this. So I can see my ADX a little bit better. Just focusing on the ADX here, that's on daily. Loss of strength, loss of momentum. Bullish momentum is kind of picking back up, but we're going to go through like this little volatility, right? It's going to do this. It's going to do all that. So let's look at USDT. What does USDT got going on? Obviously, it's going to show us the opposite of what ETH is showing us right now. One of the things that I was focusing on for USDT was this level right over here. It's now printing a bearish setup phase, right? You can see the one that's printing right here. There's a one right above this candle. 1, 2, 3, 4. So USDT needs to close underneath 8.6 in order for it to have to go into a bullish setup phase, to change that setup phase. Anything above that, it's going to be inside of a bearish setup phase, which ultimately is going to be pointing towards higher. I was looking at this level right over here, the top of this candle. That's what I was looking at, 9.023. I wanted to see that level get tapped into. I want to see how ETH is going to react to that. But I could be inside of an ABC here, right? Because this, I'm constituting this as my fifth wave right over here. You know, I breached just above 1.04. It tapped right into like just shy of the 1.13. So I have a healthy wave 5 that sits there. I'm looking at maybe a wave A there, and then this would be wave B, but it's unconfirmed yet because I could still get back into this area, and that could be my wave B. But then I'll get my wave C somewhere in these levels. That's for USDT. Let's look at I think I had something for BTC earlier. 1639. I think I was on 2-day for this one. Or no, I was on daily. There, I was on daily. Yeah, if BTC doesn't get its stuff together, then these targets are 100% still on the table. 100% on the table. This green box down here, all this green box. You know, you might see like a little reprieve from it. Maybe it gets to somewhere around here, like 67 inside this area, right where this shelf is at, and then it comes back down. And that's okay if it does that, because that's going to give us our reprieve for ETH. You know, ETH might give you a little bit higher. So you notice how these shelves sit right around this level right over here. And this is going to be the first difficult area, 1942 and some change. But we might see that, right? We might see something like that, and then we come back down, and then we sweep. Sweeping that would be sweeping the 2025 low. And if that were to occur, then that opens the door for lower levels. Blofin has minimum data. I can show you on index. Actually, I can show you just right over here. Right, that opens the door for these levels right over here. Which sit right around 1036 and possibly even lower. Possibly even lower. I just want to see the short-term reversal. That's all I'm really focused on, just a short-term reversal. And then I can trigger some shorts. But yesterday was relatively boring. There was really like no point in streaming because price action was just not moving. Y'all would have just been hearing my voice and looking at my face. So what are you guys? Are you guys bearish right now, or are you guys bullish? Drop it in the chat for me. Let me know where you guys are at. If you guys enjoy the stream, you guys enjoy the content, you guys enjoy the education, please do me a favor, smash the like button. Goes a long way for the channel, and it helps me prepare more future streams. Shout out to Evan Horizon for the soundtrack today. I'm hoping you guys enjoy some of this music. I like it. I think it's fire. Good music. Good music, good vibes. Bearish. Dishwasher's bullish. That's what's up. Sniper bearish. Okay. Okay. Not saying anybody's right, not saying anybody's wrong. I guess we can go to a 15-minute. Let's see. It looks a little bit better there. Yeah, so now we closed underneath the New York session low, fighting to get back into it, but we're breaking against it. Took some liquidity at the, what was this? Excuse me, 1635 area. Or at least ran some stops in that area. We have a lot of barriers to break, man. A lot of barriers to break. A lot of them. Actually, you know what? Let's look at this from a 3-week. That's one thing I was looking at. Was it a 3-week? Yeah, it was a 3-week. Yeah, so it cleared that 9. I mean, my ascending triangle is kind of broke. Kind of broke. I mean, not 100%, but like it's kind of broke. Unless I come here. And see, I'm kind of broke out of it there. That's the concerning part. Really need to get back into that, which is like 1709. Can't stress that enough. Like if we're going to be bullish and we're going to find any type of recovery, like I'm fine with us, you know, having maybe some wicks down below, but like from a bullish perspective, like really need to get back into that. Because I tapped here and now I'm tapped here again. I have liquidity here inside this area. Now just kind of floating in that zone. Big fat blocks down below. Big fat blocks down below. But hey, listen, I mean, if it comes sooner than later, that's fine. Then bear market is, you know, coming to its conclusion. Remember, 365 is the minimum. That's what I was outlining a couple days ago. You know, 2018 365, 2021 through 2022 365 minimum, and then here we are now. If I move this over, we're at 304 days currently right now. So that would open up the door for July to give us another sweep to the downside, and then recovery will start in August. Whether August gives us another sweep, that sweep would be the last one. So either it comes in July or it comes in August. But if my money's gonna be betting on anything, I think it would come inside of July. Yeah, your anti-shark that you were talking about earlier, or last night, early in the day, the one that we were discussing. Just keep in mind that PRZ, that wave D, can extend a little bit higher and still fit within your pattern. So if you're trying to snipe it, just be careful with that in that regard. What I mean by sniping is, like, if you're trying to snipe it and then you have like a tight stop loss, you really want to look at the zone. One thing that I would recommend is taking a box and looking left and looking at previous resistance areas from the wick to the body, and then mapping that out as a potential zone, and see if you have any fib levels for confluence that lines up with that box. That would be my recommendation if you're going to trade the harmonic. And see, that's the tricky part when you're trying to work with harmonics is, you're trying to design it based off of where that last leg is going to go. As long as you have at least 4 of those legs, I think you're good. It's finding where that 5th leg is going to be. So the indicator that we've written gives us the harmonics that have already printed. So this is going to be kind of messy on our chart just now, but just giving you an example. Like, this will give us patterns that are already printing. And the way that we've structured it is, even though this total pattern was here and then we had a stop loss just below it, if you extend this out, you still have a total pattern. So that this is kind of what I'm referring to as far as like a PRZ area. Like, the pattern is still valid. I have a stop loss there, so that way if anyone's utilizing them, they don't get wrecked holding onto a pattern based on the fib levels and still fitting within total pattern ratios, because I think a lot of people are high leveraged, and price starts getting away from them, then they start exiting real fast, and then price goes back into that area, then they find themselves chasing. So we did test essentially the wave B of that area. I think I could find a bigger one. Go to 4 hour. Yeah, there's a larger one here. Much larger one here. It's this total pattern right over here. And wave B sits at like 1933. So there's confluence there that lines up with the monthly of 1965 being an area that needs to be reclaimed. An ABC area of these zones right over here, like 1980. So I know that's kind of messy. So what I'll do is I'll do this. And I'll clean that up. Do I? Yeah. So it brought me to this wick right here. I could still extend it, still fits. That's kind of what I'm referring to. Right, because if you're longing, you know, this first initial wick, actually I think the first one was right over here, right? You probably panicked. I'm not saying you directly, but like in general, like you as in general. You probably panicked, closed, and then it started doing this. And now you're fighting to get back in. So all of this area becomes a PRZ zone. All this. See, that becomes your zone. And then you can take that box and go down to lower time frames, like a 15 minute, a 3 minute, or even a 1 minute if you know, if you really want to, if you want to really snipe it. But my point being is that becomes your zone. So you could even go a step further, which I think I already have here. Right, we have a fib level from here, and essentially that's just measured from this swing low to this swing high. So I'm measuring everything inside of here. So a retracement down to 0.5, you know, is essentially a bullish retest, right? Because it's holding above 0.5. Well, what if it goes a little bit lower than 0.5, which it did? It got into a little golden pocket, which was right around like 1602. There was sell side liquidity that sat inside of that area. So if I'm going to be trading the harmonic specifically, then I'm looking for two levels really that I'm most focused on. And first would be like this 1740. You know, I think we said that a couple times already, 1740 being an area, because that's the wave X. And if I can get price action to reclaim wave X, reclaim that area, then that gives more strength to the pattern itself. If I start rejecting off of the wave X, then that shows that the pattern, one or two things, either the pattern is going to invalidate and or it's still building up inside of that PRZ zone. So those are two things that you want to look for. If you do get the acceptance into wave X, then your next target is going to be wave B, right over here. And from all my experience as far as trading harmonics, this is like a do or don't area. Right, so even if I map it out like this, and let's just make that, I don't know, like an orange. Right, so it stands out. That area right there. So if price came to it, and there's little tiny areas right above it, right? Like we were saying, like 1965 on the monthly, we even had some like 1980s that sat inside this area. So like price action comes to this zone right over here, maybe stalls out. If it doesn't hit and immediately reject, but then starts to just kind of stall out over here, you have a bunch of individuals that are shorting this level right here, and they're going to feel a little squeeze into these zones. That's where like the 1960 comes in, and then the 1980s come in. So as long as we can hold, I did that wrong, sorry. If we can hold something like right around this area and kind of using the same toolage that I was sharing before, right? We're going to go from wick to body and stretch that out. Right, that becomes your price reversal zone for this setup. Meaning, on a lower time frame, you could probably find another harmonic, as most patterns follow each other. So maybe you get something that's like, I don't know. Let's go with. And I believe that's the anti-shark that you were just referring to on BTC. You can find something very similar like that on ETH. And then it's the same thing. It's rinse and wash, right? Like I have a wave B here, but then I have a wave B that sits right over here. So then what really occurs there? Do I bounce off that wave B and then I go right back up again, or do I break below wave B and then I sweep into wave C? And then the opposite is true for the larger pattern, right? Do I break above wave B and then I start targeting wave C? The larger ones, the larger patterns, you know, they consist of more data, so they have more strength in that regard, but do not underestimate smaller harmonics. Do not underestimate them. I've had some really small patterns that have printed hard, that have printed very, very hard. So I'll save this just so we have it, you know, for speculation purposes. What is this? That's the first one. I get rid of that. I don't need that. And you're the wave B, and you're the New York sessions. Okay. And then it gets real busy real fast. Oh, this is a longer one. You can ignore that. You're off. I just need to get a All right. So that's how I look at it. $786. What's 786? You talking about the 764 at 1555? I don't know. I think that's what you mean. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, yeah, wave Bs are tricky, man. Your harmonic on the 15-minute? Okay. Yeah. I would just take it a step further and just map one out. You know what? Here, I'll just do it for you. I'm gonna pull out the spoon. Say, damn, this has a deeper bump and run pattern, much deeper. And you can see the opposite of one right over here. Okay. I don't want to scroll too hard on that. that's easy to see by it. That's easy to see. You got an ABCD there. That's more of a Navarro. Let's see what we detect here. Yeah, you're giving me a bearish pattern here. And then you're giving me an ABCD there. I saw that. That I saw. And then you're giving me a total here, but you're going the total off of this. Yeah, I don't, it's not I don't agree with it. I prefer this one better. Okay. And that is a deep frying pan. That needs to be bigger. Am I on 4 hour? Sheesh, I'm on 4 hour. My goodness. Why does it look like BTC bled harder than ETH? Am I tripping? Yeah, ETH put up a little bit more of a fight. All right, I'll digress. All right, wick to body. So really you want to see that, you want to see it like a scallop. Right? And you could actually even drill down on that and look at this as an Adam and Eve. There's your Adam. And then this is your Eve. Just depends on what this does. Because if this decides to go here, then this becomes a key area. Did you go to wave B? No, you didn't even touch wave B yet, but you have acceptance above wave X. Let me look at it this way. Very similar to the ABC. Let's just go to the extension. We'll just jump straight to that. Yeah, look at that. Let's do a fib zone on that real quick. So compression. I haven't breached 5 yet. I think on 5, that's probably where I'll get that. I mean, that's a possibility. Because that is my wave B. Yeah, that is my wave B. So that's a flat level, which lines up with my wave B. So definitely need to keep my eye on that. And this just puts me inside the zone here. This little box, if I go from body to wick and I make my box there, so it puts me inside of this zone. So if I can breach above that, then that puts me here. That's retesting that. So what do I have if I have that? Let's see. I think a lot of harmonic traders are going to see this. And that's kind of what they're going to go for. Very similar on ETH. You got an anti-shark there. And that's, the anti-sharks are pretty aggressive. From my experience, they're pretty aggressive. Yeah, because from a PRZ zone perspective, even if I came here, like, I don't have anything on that. Only way that works is if I do something like, maybe something like that, but that's not a pivot. You know, it's not a swing. I'm more forcing it. This was definitely a pivot, because you can see where price action went, pivoted, boom, dropped. So I'd be a little bit more inclined to see something like that. And this is going to be an important area, because if it breaks above that, then, and it goes to the buy side liquidity, that's not going to work. And that just doesn't work anymore. That just doesn't work anymore. So if you're bearish and you're looking for, you know, looking for those 50s, I'd want to see at least 70 tapped into, right? Collect some liquidity and then move back down. But if we can reclaim 66, 384 inside that area, it's thin air. It's thin air. And this makes a little bit more sense coming into this level right over here. I'll zoom in on this one. I'll give you both of them, boy. I'll drop them inside of the VIP section for us, just so you have them. Let me just clean it up a little bit. There it is. And there's an ABC here, so maybe I'll make that a little bit thicker. Yeah, so maybe you can see it that way. I don't know, can I make the font larger? I cannot. And it's not a minor, an intermediate. I'm gonna drop it in VIP for you. And then I'm going to give you the larger one. I mean, this could, I mean, to answer your question, this could be super strong, like very, very strong. And then what you can do is you can actually just take a step back and then measure out your Elliott waves to complement it. So at this juncture, you'd look at it saying, okay, well, this is a strong wave. You know, let's just for argument's sake, let's just constitute this as a wave 3, right? 1, 2, and all of this was 3. And so a 4, I mean, that kind of makes sense to me, right? Because you had your A, B, and then C, then you had another move up but a failure. So really you're looking at and then you can get a 4 here, and then you can get your 5, you know, wherever that decides to land. I'll map that in a second. Let me send you the larger chart first, the larger pattern. And I'm gonna get rid of this for right now, just so there's less noise. And I'm gonna get rid of the fib zones because I just don't need them right now. And this is the larger. It's a Navarro, if you're curious. How do I know this is a Navarro? Because these are the signs for Navarro. When you have these legs right over here, the distance between each other, the ratio wise, it falls under like a flat number, like 0.99, 1 even. In this case, it's 1.206. These are Navarro characteristics. Just as an FYI. I'll tag you on that one just so you have it. And then what I want to look at is I want to look at the bump and run for this real quick. I'm going to see if I can actually get a bump and run on here. Where do you come from, though? Okay, so maybe you go a little bit higher. Okay. Do you go higher? Oh snap, you go way higher. Sheesh. Man, you're gargantuan. Yeah, you're gargantuan. Man, that is a huge bump and run. You only had a bump here. You only had a bump there. I mean, I could find a smaller one there, but I have another dip here. Yeah, that's much larger. Right, because that's all time, right? Yeah, that's all time. All right, let's throw on some things to look at. All right, so shaking out here. So I don't have my bump and run there, but I would have my bump and run here. I didn't get that here. I just got a standard ABC corrections on those. Damn, that actually opens that up even more. I bet if I fib zone that again, my fib zone probably lines up right in the middle of that, that 5. June 16th, and what is this? June 22nd, and this is right in between that. Yeah, I'll stick with that. I'll leave that. Because that just makes total sense. Like, look at all this space in here, man. All right? Because we had this move up, and then we had all this space here that was created from it. So then we just cleared it. Okay, same thing over here. You know, price moved up, had all this space in here, and then boom, cleared it. Again, cleared it. Again, cleared it. Bro, when this thing decides to go for a bull run, it's gonna go insane. Look at all this space over here. Anyways, getting ahead of myself. So if I get a 1, 2, 3 there, ABC there, because I can get 1, 2, 3. I can get 1, 2, 3. And then this would be my 4. Okay. Okay. So let's do a 4 here. What did I say here? 1, 2. Couldn't make that up even if I tried, bro. I mean, there's obviously something going on between 70, 75, 70,500 through 72,600. I think that would be my 4. I think I have that wrong. Hold on. I do have that wrong. I mean, I'm just a hair off. It's fine though. Yeah, that makes total sense to me. I mean, these levels are here, but I don't think it runs flat, man. I think it runs sharp. I think it runs in a zigzag. Because this was sharp. I could already tell that was sharp. That was like an 80% retracement. Yeah, I'm gonna take 0.382 off. I mean, it's respected this channel. Midpoint. Broke against midpoint, used the midpoint. Breached up to the 100. Tried to break it, couldn't break it. Came back to the midpoint. Come back and test the 100, and then come back and test that midpoint again. Can I see this on a daily, please? Where did that harmonic put us? I'm gonna anti-bat. Where's the larger one? So just under A. Either anti-bat, anti-shark, it's an anti-pattern, I know that much. I don't know if this Navarro is going to stick. It's a weak one, in my opinion. Alright. I want to make sure that I can see this on daily. Damn, and it got me to that green box, and I wasn't even trying to aim for that green box. guys can see that okay, right? I mean, that's pretty visible. I'll just drop this in my corner for you guys. Let's look at a volume profile real quick. That's one thing we didn't add. Well, that's the dynamic, but let's look at a volume profile real quick. Squeeze above here and get it right into this little pocket. Man, it breaks out of that. No, but thin air up here, bro. It breaks this 77 going to 91. Yeah, look at that. There's a fair value gap right here too. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'd just be looking for the longs to get into that wave C. You know, long the wave B. You know, look at your fit levels. And we can just go down to a 4 hour. And we can measure this out for a wave B. I use the same measurements for wave 2 because I can kind of get the same data. To the top, let's flip that over. I don't really care for 0.32, 0.5 and below. Yeah, actually I'll leave 0.32, it's fine, just so we can see where it's bouncing, or if it is bouncing, if it's resisting off of it, what have you. Alright, so BTC has done 61% and some change so far on that. So we can take the other ones off. Let's just take these off. Bro, ETH did better. That's crazy. That's crazy. ETH did better. I don't know, that might be a sign. So we went 6018, which is 61 and some change. Okay. And then I have my wave C that sits over there. All right, let's make sure we put this organized so we have everything that flows together. I want to do the same thing for ETH. I want to look at my channel for ETH on the daily. Let's see if I can get that to transpose on daily. I'm not gonna do that. I'll just do it. I'll do it fresh. I'll do it this current interval only. I don't want to mess with that. I can leave those on for right now. All right, let's go to work. Oh man, brain fart, there you are. Like that. What happens if I extend you out though? Oh no, I don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Just leave it like that. Okay. But bro, are you done? Are you done at 0.5 or are you done at 618? I mean, BTC went to 618. Trying to find a subwave in this. Okay, so you're 5. Okay. 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 I need to find a 4 in this, and then I need to find a 5 in this. Let's do 4. Jeez. These two line up freaking identical. I don't don't know, just based on performance, it probably squeezes above that. But I mean, there's so much going on right here. There's so many different factors that are going on here. The only reason why it would breach that is doing something similar to this, right? Like showing you like false breakouts and then coming down, false breakouts and coming down. So if I'm going to see something that's like false breakouty, but if I want to stay flat on a 4, yeah, I'll open that up. That's going to be big. That's going to be big. Yeah, that's going to be big. Okay. I need a 5. That still sweeps the 13, right? Yeah, that still sweeps the 13, so and that takes the sell side liquidity. Yeah, that's right there. Okay. $1963, boy, there's a lot going on here. My house could be on fire, and I'm literally not going to pay attention to it, because once price action gets here, I'm going to be hyper focused on this and seeing if I can get any stretches above. I think we will fall. I think we'll come into here. I think we'll try to respect that channel, because this, I mean, we're talking about a long-term channel here, right? Long-term channel. But this midpoint is going to be, it's going to be a sweet spot. Is that clear? That doesn't clear this though. That's still the problem, man. That's still the biggest problem. That's okay, because then I can I'll find it on the monthly. Damn, that might extend the bear market. Jeez, that's gonna suck. I don't know, maybe. These are New York sessions. I'm just gonna take these out for right now because they're in the way. I want to look at some liquidity. It's maybe a little bit higher. Where's my fifth one? Okay, you're not gonna print my fifth. Okay, I'll leave you on 3. Yeah, that's probably where the short's gonna come from. The short's probably gonna come from there. I'm looking at these highs right over here that created this. Yo, is that a shaved head? Oh, it's very thin liquidity. Oh yeah. Yeah. I like this area. Yeah, we're gonna go back to 1960 inside the month of June. I feel very confident about that. I feel like we'll get back to 1960 and then we're gonna get our last and final flush going in through July. So wherever June finishes at, maybe July opens up and gives us like 2017, whatever, which is fine. And then we'll get that flush. Then we'll be done. Well, I'm hoping we'll be done. Let me correct myself on that. That's what it should look like. Yeah, Anton, I adjusted the volume for my mic a little bit for you. I trade with volume, and I'm high on the spectrum when it comes to ADD, so I need music to concentrate. I mean, this is still a viable option too, guys. I think that's still a viable option. I think that's a target that Elise has. If you're on crypto Twitter, I think that's a target that Elise has, is 1062. I feel like a lot of people might be longing this area, so we'll look at both of them. Like, I would definitely be taking TPs here and seeing if I can get a hedge to stick, but I'm not taking this off the table. It's, you know, if price action decides to come down to this area, come down to this zone right here, and then just kind of does one of these, maybe a little flush like that, but then pulls back up and moves up, and then you get your impulse, then we're done. And just because I have a 9 failure here, I don't know when it's going to get cleared. I pointed this out because I don't know when it will be cleared, but one day it will be cleared. One day for sure it will be cleared. Did you play all the music? Oh, you did. Well, let's rewind that. Let's go back. Let's do that again. Because we do, if you recall, when I was mentioning, it was like the only saving grace that we have right now is that we have a 13 with an 8 that's printing here. That is the only thing saving our butts right now. Excuse me. That is the only thing saving us. And this could happen like maybe like 4 years down the road, you know, 3 years down the road, next bear market, right? I mean, somebody would argue and say like, you know, this wick right here, breach underneath here, but from my studies and my experience, we flush that entire setup phase. Okay. So I'm gonna put this inside of my corner so you guys have for reference. I'll do the zoomed in version. Oops, I always do that. I'll do the zoomed out first. Ooh, look at that. Is that daily? Oh, look at that's daily too. Sexy. Sexy, sexy, sexy. That looks good. That looks freaking phenomenal. Yeah, more reason to long in this area. Well, not here where it's at right now, but longing overall in general. Does that not give me... Are you like black or something? Oh, that's why, because you're black. Did it print here? No, I didn't print there. Okay, so let's try that again. I know, nobody can see it. I know, I know. Let's look at market pressure real quick. 60, okay. ADX is above 50. Okay. So I'll give you zoomed out first, and then I'll give you zoomed in. What is this? Listen to you. I'm not doing any of that. Okay, now let's go. Okay, so that's ETH zoomed out, and then let's go ahead and do ETH zoomed in. So everybody is clued into what is Saint looking at. Right, I still don't have confirmation that wave B is done. Like that's the unfortunate part. Right, like we can still get this down to here, into here. We still don't have that yet. Like we got to start breaking above wave A for that to be confirmed. All right, so I think what's going to help us here is going to be USDT. We really got to break down USDT here. USDT's on a 4. That's weekly. That's weekly. That's weekly. That's weekly. And same thing I was saying before on daily. Wait, did that retrace down? Am I tripping? Oh, it sure did. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is the sweet spot, man, right here, right now. Just for wrong tool. See? Let's try that one more time. That's the sweet spot for the day for USDT. We can get a break underneath there and close underneath there. Close underneath there. And I think wave B will start showing signs that it's done. I'll put a little label for everybody here so everybody knows kind of what I'm looking at. Sorry for spamming everybody, just want to make sure that the information is all out there. And we have this ascending triangle on lower time frames. You can see it here. Right? Typically it breaks, it will break below, right? Because it was created from the downside. It's still a 50-50. Like, if we're going to split hairs, like it's like 55-45, right? 55% chance it's going to break down to the downside. So it's just something to observe. What does that measured move look like? It'd give us a new low, 1461. That just means June's low hasn't been reached yet. And then the opposite is true. Like if we get a push to the upside, right? 1836 is like minimums. So, you know, multitude of different patterns that we can be looking at in different perspectives, but I always just defer to just straight TA analysis. And right now for me, it's 4 hour. Actually, let's save this word so we don't mess this up later. No, we'll do 2025. So now looking at the daily, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm utilizing I'm utilizing two different patterns. I'm using a higher time frame setup, looking at that channel. Obviously, we can see that channel derived from 2025 to where we are currently now. Now, when I go down to the lower time frames, like 4 hour, I'm looking at certain setups and patterns that speak confluence into that setup. So when I come down here to the 4 hour, we can see that we have the bump and run reversal pattern that's potentially printing. What level could it tap into? You know, 1989, maybe just shy of that in the 1960, which feeds into the wave 4 that we were talking about right over here, or at least the ABC, which is right over here inside this zone, right? So the bar pattern kind of speaks volumes into that. 1963 is like right over here somewhere. I'm gonna throw the sessions back on real quick, and we're gonna come over to 15-minute. See what that looks like. Yeah, that's just, I mean, that's just tough all around, right? The rule of thumb is if you break below the New York session, or whatever session is, if you break below it, then you look for the shorts. But, you know, seeing if you're starting to short here in this area and you have a very tight stop loss or what have you, then you got pushed out. Then you came right back down to entry. So like we're just in this brain rot of a session range. So it's more neutral territory, to be quite honest. Like if you got a long, you got a long, then you're just babysitting it. If you caught a short from, you know, 1666 where I had mentioned earlier, it's the same thing. You're just babysitting it. Excuse me. Any questions I can answer for you guys? Anything you want me to cover? Related to BTC and ETH, we'll do additional coins later on in the stream. I saw a couple of you guys talking about humanity. I haven't looked at it. Maybe I'll look at it a little bit later. Oh, you know what I do want to look at, bro? I want to look at Soul. That was the exact same setup. It's almost the exact same setup. And you got a shave bottom on there too, right? Yeah, the same exact same setup as ETH. Actually, I just really need one fib. I just need one fib. Exact same setup. Oh, because that's daily, but on 4 hour, right? Damn, you know what? I might be wrong about that one. Where's my 1, 2, 3? ABC. So then you're my 1, 2, and then you're my 3. You're a little bit different. I know that's not my 4. It's slightly different. I got my ABC here. It's a little, actually a little cleaner, to be honest with you. I'm gonna find my long for Soul. I was mentioning some of the guys in one of our chats. I'm primarily gonna focus on Soul and ETH during the bull run. This is just me kind of prepping for it now. You went to a 618 too. Wow. Deja vu. ETH is the only one that didn't go to a 618. Damn. Maybe you come down a little bit lower. Yeah, because daily you gotta shave bottom. Daily you gotta shave bottom, so that's probably gonna open up the door for 61. Yep. What? What did hype do? Oh, hype short is playing out. Okay, I didn't short hype. I'm just going back to some stuff. Oh, river. River's on the ground floor here. Damn it, maybe on my long river. I mean, it's been moving sideways for some time. Yeah, I think I'll long river's next low. What is this right here? Damn, I haven't touched Ordi in so long, guys. Jeez. Bro, if some of you guys were with me for a couple years, you guys remember that short that I gave on, I think it was 2023. Yeah, it was 2023. Or no, it was 2024. I believe it was like in October. Yeah, I was looking for shorts around here. We stretched into here. And then I was calling for 13. Yeah, see, I was calling for 13. Damn, you made an all-time low? Oh my gosh, you went to 88 cents? Damn, how do I get back into Ordi? This thing's on a supreme discount, bro. Yeah, how do I get back to you? Let's go to weekly. And it's maybe too high. Let's go to 3-day. You got a pop coming. You definitely got a pop coming. Yeah, you got a pop coming. Where's my ADX? 45, RSI 42. ADX is what, 45? Okay. So, damn. I want to long this thing. What do you have here? All right, I'll set some alarms there. I still want my alarm to go off here so I can start checking. Nope. I'm gonna keep my eye on Ordi because I'm gonna look for some longs on that. I might even build around this area. Yeah, everyone's waiting for 2.5 on River. Yeah. Yeah, Orti's going to give an insane move, which will probably be a 1. I mean, the only other way of looking at that is maybe going, oh, this is 2. Don't need that, don't need that. Don't need that either. Are you breaking against 7.6? Yeah, so I'm gonna wait for that 8.8. I'm gonna wait for that 8.8. That's fine, that's good enough for me. Did ADA hit an all-time low? Fudge me. Dude, this is a dead project. What is going on with ADA? Nobody wants ADA? Oh my gosh. OP, all these things. Look at that. AVAX. Oh, grass was one of them too. Damn it, ADA, I mean, grass and Ordi have a lot of similarities. Is that a shaved bottom there though? That's a problem though. Oh no, there's a very, very, very thin, I can see it. You guys probably can't see, but I can see it. Yeah, just a little bit lower for me on grass. I mean, I may have missed it. Actually, no, I don't think I don't think I missed it because the move is still occurring. Yeah, the 618's there, but I don't trust it. I think my phone completely died. Okay, so I think BTC is covered, ETH is covered, Sol is covered, Ordi's covered, Grass is covered. Beat. I mean, there's like, there's no, bro, you can't touch that. Can't touch that. There's nothing. Sheesh. Just straight vertical run up. Damn, you're lucky if you caught that at the top. That's kind of where you needed to catch it. Oh, it's got sell pressure developing. geez, this is a fire red. Yeah, I didn't think you'd give that to me, but you gave me a fire red there. Yep, that might be a good opportunity. Just come back to where you belong. Let's just come right back to where you belong. Yeah, do they actually have that on there? Let me see if Blofin has beat. I actually might take that. Very low, like margin beats. Yep, they got it. Uh, 4 hour is giving us a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 candles in the green on a 4 hour. Yeah. We're gonna try something here now. I just opened a short on beat, just as an FYI, very small. My entry is 9.7. Hey, thank you for that one, boy. Appreciate that. What's up, buddy? Is it lunchtime yet? It's not lunchtime yet. You got 4 minutes. You got 4 minutes, buddy. And you ate breakfast late this morning. You ate breakfast late this morning. Yeah, I'm gonna look for some ads on that. Excuse me. If this goes wrong, I'm blaming you, boy. And if this goes right, I'm giving you no credit. I'm joking. So it's tight stop loss. I mean, you got a 6 on it right now, but I think that 4 hour printed off an aggressive 9. Dude, the 9 was way down here. And the lead up phase is this is all exhaustion, bro. Yeah, I need to increase my leverage on that. I'm gonna short that into oblivion, guys. Into oblivion. I'm running such a low leverage on it, like it's one of those like I don't care. I went to 9.88. I'm at 9.78. Well, now I gotta add this. So it's quick and easy to grab. Yep, that wave B does not look like it was done. Come on, ETH. Come to 618s, please. Just do us all a favor. Yeah, USDT kind of just idled out now, strength-wise. It's not a good look. I mean, if you're short, it's a great look. You kind of want to see that. There you go, ETH. There you go. Oh. How did you find this coin, by the way? Were you on a scanner, or were you just looking at coins that were performing? What did you have? What did you say? 4 point what? 4.5? I see what you're looking at, like previous resistance area. I think good TPs would be here. I'm looking at the wicks where there's like little to no liquidity, so like this zone right here, 5.29. That's fighting. It's not going to give us on our first go. I know that much. What's up? Yeah, let's see what happens with this box here. Damn, I can make that box even smaller. It's probably the same thing, right? Well, was that on daily? Or no, it was on 4 hour, right? Yeah, right in there. Where'd the vertical run-ups start from? This area right here, 1619 has been an area that's been tested several times. Whatever happened to humanity? What was I looking at? Is it XC? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Good gosh. Well, it gave you a perfect channel. We're gonna get one more push up on beat. We'll know here like in the next like 2 hours. We'll probably get like another little push up. ETH holding 61% of that of its pump. I just want another push up on beat so I can add. Yeah, we need, yeah, bro. ETH has needed it for a long time. For a long time, it's needed it. This probably goes a little bit higher. And ETH went to 1673 and never came back. With a shaved head there. Never came back. That's really what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for this area to get tapped again. I mean, I'm pretty sure somebody took the riskier short here at this area. Someone might have taken that. Yeah, beat, yeah. Yeah, because that's a 7 with a 6 above. So beat's probably gonna come over here somewhere. Oh, sniper. I figure you would. I figure you trade that session. That's a good play. It's a riskier one, but it's a good play. That's good. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, smaller position on beat. All right, so you guys are down for 1K, 10K next week. You guys want to run it next week? Yes, yes. Yes, no, maybe so. Yeah. Yeah, I think we'll start next Monday. Yeah, we'll run it through the server. I'm gonna run everything through Blofin. Some of you guys have asked me and DM me about the tools that I use and indicators that I use. I've put out a an announcement for you guys. If you guys wanted access to these, there's a way that you can get lifetime access to these through using the referral partners, the ref links that we have through Bitunix and through Blofin. I'll be running the challenge through Blofin because right now they're giving a 20% cashback bonus. So I think it's a little bit more beneficial for people, and their fees are just as low. Oh, look at ETH. What are you doing? So I just need ETH to do what Beat is doing, and I need Beat to do what ETH has been doing. But yeah, so the Liquidity Citadel, you got access to the Liquidity Citadel suite. You'll have access to the Citadel Pro channel, which is also inside of VIP. You get pre-market analysis, and then even like one-on-ones, kind of like what we do here, but more centralized. So that's something that interests you. It's really doesn't cost you anything. All you're doing is really just signing up with the ref link that we use. All right. ETH is moving. Let's look at beats. I need a position for beats, or at least something to add to that. 1554 for ETH. Come on, beat. 61 on ETH. Looking at these shorts right now. I think I'm gonna open up a hedge here. Let me get back to it. Ooh, man, I'm right on that ascending triangle line, right on that trend line. Yeah, I'm gonna wait. 62. Come on, clear that shave head for me. Oh, you did clear that? Did you clear that shave head? Oh, just a smidge. Just a smidge. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and trigger a hedge short here on ETH. I'll make sure that I am hedged. My hedge position is open. No. Because I'm going to mess that up and I'm going to close out my long and that's going to piss me off. Oh, I'm on one way. Damn it. I got to close and I'm not closing that. Oh, glad I did it. That actually worked out. Okay. That actually worked out. Okay, so let's just take some profits off of that. Okay, let's take some profits off of that. I'll let the rest run. 1674. Okay, so just gonna trim a little bit more profit off of this, just a smidge. No, I don't want 5. I gotta do that manually. I don't want to do that. Why don't you let me do that manually? You know what, 25 is fine. That's fine. Because I gotta close. I can't hedge. I didn't switch my hedge mode. I've been in positions ever since. I still haven't switched it yet. Did I go to 72? I went to 82. I just need beats to give me what I'm looking for. So the reason I don't close my long on ETH yet is because I could be done with my wave B and I'm inside wave C, and then if I short it, then I'm just going to be punished. I'd much rather miss the position, come back to entry levels or areas, what have you, and then look for a new long. I've already taken some profits off of it, so my time hasn't been wasted on it. And it gets a beat. Oh, come on, beat. It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I'm gonna switch this over to one screen just because it's easier for me to manage that during one screen. I'll flip between the two. I want to see this. I want to see these BSLs up here. Yeah, long score just got an 80 too. Just printed an 80 with a ready, so that's why I'm not touching that right now. Did beat come back in the box? It didn't come back into the box. You know what? Let me set an alarm real quick for that. That's probably the best course of action for that. It's going off now because I just said it, but it didn't re-enter just now. I'm just looking for a decent ad on Beat. If Beat's gonna give it. Oh, excuse me. Sometimes you just gotta let the longs breathe, man. Sometimes you just gotta let the longs breathe. $9.5 on B. Hasn't entered that box yet. See, it's reclaiming. Remember what I posted earlier inside the server. Like, if it starts to reclaim 1672, the short's not going to work. It's just not going to work. The regime is starting to show switches here. That's on a 1 hour. Let's go to a 4 hour. Is the regime switching there too? Yeah, it's on a watch list right now, but on 1 hour it's already switched. It's ready. Let's see if our smart candles has switched yet. Yeah, so that's giving us range chop, so it's not giving us full bullish yet. Come on, bugger. Get inside that box. Oh my gosh, I just want to add on that thing already. That doesn't count. It's because I moved the box, so that's why it's going off. Where are you on this channel? Yeah, we're at the midpoint of this channel. I got my eyes on beat right now. What I'm focused on right now. I have another screen underneath. I'm just looking for ads on it right now. I'll show you what I'm looking at. Yeah, we're getting into this box. It's kind of what I'm really focused on. Damn it, I got into that box and I didn't add when I wanted to add. That's my fault. That's my fault. I was at 9.8. Damn it, that would have been the ad that I needed. Oh yeah, you're coming back down here. Sheesh. Got a gap. What is USDT doing? Yeah, USDT is trying to break that line. Remember that line that we're talking about? This is the area of interest for the day. That's why I was taking some profits off of that, because if it holds that area, then it's most likely going to want to try to come back over here. And USDT, I mean, ETH is on a 3 minute showing this gap. We didn't even retest this yet. But it's holding on to that 1670 area. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I don't want to add when it's moving down like that. But I think I could add and I'll be okay. Come on. Give me a little push. Give me a little push. Give me a little push. Yeah, that regime is switching. I'd be very, very, very careful on shorts. If you're shorting, you're probably scalping like 1 minute, 2 minutes. I'd be very careful on that. I have no shorts open on it. Yeah, because index is going to take a culmination of all the exchanges and give you like an average. So you'll find some of that differential in there. Sometimes the index messes me up with like shaved bottoms and shaved heads, because index may be showing a shaved bottom, but if you go to the actual exchange, it's not printing it. So sometimes you just got to double check it. Alrighty. Oh, it's getting close to that time for me. Ladies and gentlemen, getting closer to winding down. You get some grub in this belly. But we got a good solid 3 hours. 3 hours to some change. Covered quite a few different coins. Some coins that I've never traded before that I'm just throwing it out there, seeing what we catch. But it's all right, you know, having a little fun with it. I will be back inside the server, answering any questions that you guys have. I posted quite a few setups for ETH, BTC, Ordi, Grass, and then I didn't put Beat in there, but I'll throw Beat in there later today. Be careful on the shorts. That's the biggest thing I leave you with. Yes, I mean there's room to go down lower in due time, but just considering, you know, where funding rates are at and things like that, it kind of makes sense for us to kind of go and have a small little relief rally to the upside, and then we'll make our way back down. I'll be pointing those levels out to you guys as we approach them. USDT is now just touching that bottom level. See, it's that level that we were marking off. Sorry, I didn't mean to squirrel on you. But the alarm just went off, so it's something to be paying attention to. And that kind of brings me back to this. You know, if you're looking at your positions and you're maybe hyper focused on the lower time frames and you're just like, man, I don't know which direction it's going, defer to USDT. It can show you where the rotation is going. You know, people are rotating out of stable and they're going to be rotating into things like BTC and ETH. So this is why we're seeing a little bit of a pump right now. We are far, far, far from out of the woods yet in the sense of finding our bottom. We still have a lot of time going on, but inside the month of June, you know, 1960s, 1980s, inside that area, I believe those areas can still be tested, which if you missed the short from like 2130s or 2400s or 2300s, any of those upper levels, if you missed that short, then it kind of forces you to look for that long and ride it into those levels. Once we get into those 1960s, 1980s, I'm definitely going to be looking for some shorts. I do want to see signs of weakness first before we can actually start, you know, opening up positions on those. But ultimately, I think the longs are a little bit more favored here, just considering where we were in the retracement. We have a wave 3 on the daily. We have a bump and run pattern that's also printing on a 4 hour. We have a couple harmonics that showed us a PRZ zone, price reversal zone for wave D. So we have several different levels of confluence that point towards the long for a short term, longing into the upper levels of, like I said, 1960s, 1980s. And if it decides to stretch even higher than that, let's say it gets into 2000s, you know, that's even more beneficial for us. If you miss a long and you're looking for a long opportunity, I will be hunting for them for us through the course of the day. I think I'm going to handle a couple things here inside my household, but then I'll be going back and looking, saying, okay, well, if I miss my long at 1602, which again was posted inside the server, inside my corner, and it's posted right there inside of the site, for you guys every single morning, so you saw where the levels were at. I don't say that to, you know, pound you over the head or anything like that, just saying that the information is there. All you really got to do is look for it, in the sense of click, click, click. You don't have to do much digging. All the levels of support and resistance are mapped out for you, the areas that you should be paying attention to. When you see those posts or you see that information on the site, go to your chart and set your alarms and be like, okay, these are the levels that I need to be looking at, because price action could do something here. It could bounce here, it could reject here, what have you. So if you missed the 1602 entry point or inside of that area, I'll be looking for another long for us. I'm waiting for confirmation to confirm that this wave B is actually in fact done, and we're not just looking at a dead cat bounce. Holding this 1672, 1673 area, that's going to be a confirmation for us. So if we get continuation up, the next dip that we see, you know, as long as we can hold that 1673, that's what I would be looking for an add back to my long. As I said, I will point that out to you guys once we get into that position. A lot of this dialogue is going to be inside of our Citadel Pro and VIP section. So if you're not part of the VIP section, I don't know what you're doing. You're definitely missing out. But if you want access to the VIP section, go to the VIP access channel inside of our server. Just follow those instructions as far as for VIP, and then you'll get access to it. Coupled with that, you'll also get access to these indicators that you see that I utilize on a day-to-day basis. They are lifetime access, and you'll also get access to additional updates that we provide within the server for these indicators. So if there's anything else that we build, whether it be an updated harmonic indicator or an updated LA wave indicator or an updated order block, what have you, all the different strategies that we utilize, you'll get access to those as well too. So it's a way of us giving back to our community, but also giving recognition to our community, those that support our community by utilizing the referral links that we work with. Outside of that, it's long-winded. I apologize, but just want to make sure you guys have the information. Be safe for the remainder of the day. Be profitable. Take profits where you need to take profits. Make sure that your day is fruitful in the actions that you've taken. And if nobody's told you today, let it be heard. Jesus loves you. I love you. Take care, and thank you for being here. Peace.